नमस्कार। आज की गीता सत्र में आप सभी का स्वागत है। आज 30 जुलाई 2023 रविवार श्रावण माह के शुक्ल पक्ष द्वादशी तिथि है। आज हम गीता जी के अध्याय 2 सांख्य योग का स्वाध्याय करेंगे। इसके उपरांत मैं राधिका का स्वागत करती हूँ शांति मंत्र के लिए।
ॐ सहना भवतु सहनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। मनोबुद्ध्यहङ्कार चित्तानि नाहं न च श्रोत्रजिह्वे न च घ्राणनेत्रे न च व्योमभूमिर्न तेजो न वायुः चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं न च प्राणसंज्ञो न वै पञ्चवायुः न वा सप्तधातु न वा पञ्चकोशः न वा पाणिपादं न चोपस्थपायु चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं न मे द्वेषरागो न मे लोभमोहो मदो नैव मे नैव मात्सर्यभावः न धर्मो न चार्थो न कामो न मोक्षः चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं न पुण्यं न पापं न सौख्यं न दुःखं न मन्त्रो न तीर्थो न वेदा न यज्ञः अहं भोजनं नैव भोज्यं न भोक्ता चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं न मृत्युर्न शङ्का न मे जाति भेदः पिता नैव मे नैव माता न जन्मः न बन्धुर्न मित्रं गुरुर्नैव शिष्यं चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् अहं निर्विकल्पो सर्वेन्द्रियाणां न चासङ्गतं नैव मुक्तिर्न मेयः चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहं चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम्।
नमस्ते आप सभी को। आज के भगवत गीता सत्र में हम सांख्य योग का स्वाध्याय करेंगे और हम आज के दिन जब इतनी भावपूर्ण प्रस्तुति के बाद राधिका की इस यात्रा को आगे बढ़ाएंगे और ये समझेंगे कि ये जो स्तोत्र राधिका ने गाया और जो ये स्तोत्र है ये एक अंतिम अवस्था की है। ये उस अवस्था की है जहाँ व्यक्ति व्यक्ति अपने अपने इस पूरे जो माया है उससे ऊपर उठ के कोई कह सकता है तो वो मात्र एक शंकराचार्य ही हो सकते हैं जो ये सब कह सकते हैं। और आज से हमारी उस यात्रा का प्रारंभ हो रहा है जहां से हम इस ज्ञान मार्ग की ओर बढ़ेंगे, इस अद्वैत मार्ग की ओर बढ़ेंगे और समझेंगे कि कैसे हम उस स्थिति में पहुंच पाए जिस स्थिति की परिकल्पना शंकराचार्य इस स्तोत्र में कर रहे हैं। तो सबसे सर्वप्रथम यहाँ पे उल्लेखनीय है कि अ, हमारा वेदांत दर्शन क्या कहता है। हमारा वेदांत दर्शन यह कहता है कि सारे समस्याओं का जड़ हमारा हमारा इग्नोरेंस है। दैट इज टू रूट कॉज ऑफ एवरी सफरिंग ऑफ आवर लाइफ इज इग्नोरेंस। इग्नोरेंस ऑफ व्हाट? इग्नोरेंस ऑफ नॉट अंडरस्टैंडिंग हु वी आर। और भगवान शंकराचार्य इस स्तोत्र में जो कि 11वां और 12वां श्लोक है यहाँ से चालू कर रहे हैं भगवान कृष्ण अर्जुन को पढ़ाना ज्ञान मार्ग। और फिर आगे आगे हम जब देखेंगे कि धीरे धीरे भगवान कृष्ण हर तरह के मार्ग के बारे में विवेचना करेंगे। लेकिन ये कितना सुंदर बात है कि भगवान कृष्ण ने जब 11वां श्लोक प्रारंभ किया है उनने देह और देही के अंतर को समझाते हुए ही ये सब कुछ मतलब भगवत गीता का प्रारंभ किया है एक तरीके से। तो सबसे मूल कारण जो हमारे हमारे जो समस्याओं का है वो हमारा अज्ञान। और इस अज्ञान किस तरह का अज्ञान? क्या ये अज्ञान सिर्फ हमारा इस तरह का है कि कोई हमें चीज पढ़ी हुई नहीं है या चीज समझ नहीं आती ना। ये अज्ञान है टू अंडरस्टैंड हु वी रियली आर। ये अज्ञान कि हम ये समझ नहीं पाते कि हम हैं क्या। ये एक तरीके का भगवान कृष्ण ने यहाँ से प्रतिपादन किया है। भगवान कृष्ण ने एक जैसा बहाना सा हो गया ये पूरा कुरुक्षेत्र का मैदान। लेकिन भगवान कृष्ण पूरे जन्मों जन्मांतर तक होने वाली मानव सभ्यता के लिए भगवान कृष्ण ने एक बहुत ही अच्छा ज्ञान मार्ग रख दिया। और यहाँ से प्रारंभ होता है हमारा सांख्य योग। भगवान कृष्ण यहाँ पर बोल रहे हैं पहले स्तोत्र के अंदर कि तुम पांडित्यपूर्ण वचन कर रहे हो और जिनके लिए शोक कर रहे हो वो शोक के योग्य नहीं है। और जो विद्वान होते हैं वे तो ना तो जीवित के लिए शोक करते हैं और ना ही मृत के लिए। यहाँ पे भगवान कृष्ण पंडित शब्द का प्रयोग करते हैं जिसको शंकराचार्य बोलते हैं जिस व्यक्ति में पंडा हो। जिस व्यक्ति में पंडा हो उसको पंडित बोला जाएगा। मतलब पंडा मतलब जिसमें ये विवेक हो कि क्या सत है और क्या असत है, वो पंडित होते हैं। जिसके अंदर आत्म विषय प्रज्ञा हो वो पंडित होता है। और इसमें हम आगे बढ़ते हैं और ये समझते हैं कि जैसा कि मैंने पहले भी समझाया कि हमारा जो अज्ञान है वही एक कारण है। और हम आगे वाले श्लोकों में 11 से लेकर 16 और उसके उपरांत में हम ये देखेंगे कि भगवान कृष्ण हमें ये स्वरूप समझाएंगे कि हम हैं कौन, हु वी रियली आर। और यहाँ से भगवान कृष्ण चालू करेंगे। और सारे दुखों का कारण है वो यही अज्ञान है कि जो हम नहीं समझ पाते कि हम हैं क्या। हमारी सबसे पूर्व जो सांख्य योग की सांख्य कारिका हुई है उसमें दुखों को तीन तीन दुख तीन दुख बताए गए हैं, दुख त्रय करके चीज बोली गई, जिसको रामचरितमानस में भी बोला गया है। दैहिक, दैविक और भौतिक, तीन तरह के ताप हैं। और इन तीनों तापों का कारण, दैहिक हो चाहे दैविक हो चाहे भौतिक ताप हो, या कोई चाहे आप इसको दुख त्रय से समझ लीजिए, जो तीन तरह के दुख बताए गए हैं, आध्यात्मिक और आध्यात्मिक दुख, और तीन तरह के दुख हैं। ये तीन तरह के जो दुख हैं, वो उनके पीछे का कारण क्या है? उनके पीछे का कारण अज्ञान, अपने आप को नहीं जानने का। और इसको मैं बहुत ही आसान भाषा में अगर समझाऊं तो हमें ये समझना होगा, एक बहुत ही बड़े फ्रेंच फिलोसोफर हुए हैं जिनने ये चीज बोली है कि वी आर नॉट ह्यूमन बींग्स हैविंग अ स्पिरिचुअल एक्सपीरियंस, वी आर स्पिरिचुअल बींग्स हैविंग अ ह्यूमन एक्सपीरियंस। तो हमें समझना होगा कि क्यों हमारे लिए स्पिरिचुअलिटी का स्पिरिचुअलिटी हमारे जीवन में आए, हमारे जीवन में आध्यात्मिकता है। इसके लिए हमें अज्ञान से दूर होना पड़ेगा, और जब तक हम अज्ञान से दूर नहीं होंगे तब तक हम आगे नहीं बढ़ पाएंगे। और इसी अज्ञान को हम आगे समझेंगे इन सारे ज्ञान को दूर करेंगे इन सारे स्रोतों के द्वारा। तो जैसा कि 11 और 12वां श्लोक में आप देखेंगे कि यहाँ पे अनन्यता बताएगी। अनन्यता किसकी? हमारे एग्जिस्टेंस की। ओके, सो इन इंग्लिश आई वुड स्पीक दैट इज वॉट एवर वी ड्रिंक एवरी डे इज एट लीस्ट एज ओल्ड एज आवर सोलर सिस्टम। Okay, so more than half of the water right now in the earth is estimated to be more than older than the solar itself. Okay, so whatever we touch, whatever we use in elemental form, it has existed since the formation of the solar system. Okay, even for that matter हमारी जो body है, it has existed, okay, since our body in elemental level is made up of atoms, and atoms have always been there, it has always been there. तो भगवान कृष्ण यहाँ पर पहले और दूसरे श्लोक में यही समझाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। दूसरे जब 12वां श्लोक समझा रहे हैं, वो कहते हैं कि इट हैज नेवर हैपेंड दैट आई हैव नॉट लिव्ड और यू हैव, और all these kings have not, and this, it's not like we won't be there in the future. तो यहाँ पे हमें बड़ा ही कंफ्यूजन सा होता है कि भगवान कृष्ण कह क्या रहे हैं। क्या ये किंग, तो हम किंग को किंग की तरह देख रहे हैं, हम अर्जुन को अर्जुन के स्वरूप में देख रहे हैं, हम समझ रहे हैं ये जो देह है अर्जुन का, ये सत्य है। और यहाँ भगवान कृष्ण कह रहे हैं, इस विषय में नहीं कह रहे, वो कह रहे हैं कि तुम्हारी जो एग्जिस्टेंस है, इट हैज बीन पेरेनियल। तो इसको हम समझने के लिए ऐसे समझते हैं कि जैसे कि प्रकृति, प्रकृति के अंदर प्रकृति कब से एग्जिस्ट कर रही है? प्रलय होगी, प्रकृति भी अगर आगे देखेंगे तो फिर माया का स्वरूप बन जाएगा। लेकिन अगर हम ऐसा समझें कि अगर एलिमेंटल फॉर्म में चले जाएं, तो ये बॉडी भी है वो अल्टीमेटली एक एटम ही है, और इवेंचुअली इट हैज एग्जिस्टेड सिंस द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ द सोलर सिस्टम। और क्या यही का यही हम कारण, यही का यही सोच क्या हम आई और ईगो पे भी लगा सकते हैं? इज इट लॉजिकल टू कंसिडर दैट आई और ईगो दैट वी कॉल अस एंड द थिंकिंग माइंड इज ऑल्सो रिसाइकिल्ड? इट वुड बी फुलिश टू थिंक otherwise. Okay, so in the similar manner हमें लगता है ये सत्य नहीं है, लेकिन हमारा ईगो, हमारा जो थिंकिंग माइंड है, जो हमारी कॉन्शियसनेस है, ये भी रिसाइकिल होती है, रीपैकेज हो जाती है और रीपर्पस हो जाती है। Once we know this basic fact about our nature, our outlook on birth and death will change drastically. And this is why these shloks from here 11 onwards are very important in the journey of self-realization. We start to understand that for a person who has died, nothing is lost. If we start to realize that when a person has died, nothing is lost, it indeed is a marker of understanding that we are on the path of the self-realization, because we associate with the person the body. Okay, we don't understand the real self of that person is not body, rather it is Atma. He is off to his new journey. What is our anguish about? Then what is our anguish about the death? Our anguish about the death is just selfishness reason that we will not be able to see that particular person in that form. That's it. If we really think ourselves as infinite consciousness, then we will understand that we have just merely lost a body, nothing else. That is, we might still be interacting with him in whichever new form he or she takes up. So now applying this story, if we look to the Arjuna's anguish that he is actually portraying in front of Bhagwan Krishna in the Adhyaya 1 and Adhyaya, first 10 shloks of the Adhyaya 2, over the potential death of Bhishma and Drona, it is not for his sake. It is just about himself. It is just selfishness. It is just a selfish desire to not lose. For that matter, even if it's Arjun, even it's Dhritarashtra, it is just the selfish desire of not losing their loved ones, nothing else. Okay, and Bhagwan Krishna says that okay, this is not the case. You just understand these are not mere bodies. What embodies them is the real self. That is, जो उनके अंदर है वही सत्य है. ये समझने की कोशिश करो। और इसलिए भगवान कृष्ण 11 श्लोक से आगे बढ़ते बढ़ते हम देखेंगे कि पूरे दूसरे अध्याय में इट इज जस्ट नथिंग बट द कम्युनियन विद द नॉलेज। सो भगवान कृष्ण इसलिए कहते हैं 11वें श्लोक में कि while you are giving these wise arguments you are mourning for something that is not even worth mourning. The wise person don't cry for living or dead. We can understand all these things because we have been through this physicality. Right now we are 20, so we know sometimes in our past we were actually youngers also, but we fail to understand that we are eternal beings. Okay, and this is what has been emboldened by Lord Krishna in the slok number 12, where he says that there was no time in the past when you, me, and these kings didn't exist, and there would be no time in the future when we all will not exist. Okay, here Lord Krishna is saying including himself. Okay, however Lord Krishna is Param Brahma himself, so he'll say in the next few adhyay that you may not remember all your births, but I remember all of your births, all of my births, and there he will establish himself as Param Brahma. Right now he's because he's just new student, so he just don't want to get into all those difficulties. So right now he's enlightening his mind with this knowledge. So this way Shri Krishna negated the main argument that Arjuna had, that is about losing Bhishma or Drona or his loved ones. But now this gives rise to many questions too. What dies with the death of the body? What continues beyond? And how it all works. And for this, we have this shloka number 13, where he says that the embodied being goes through different phases. This is how we relate, like childhood, teenage, adulthood, and finally old age. The same way we go to a new body at the time of death. It is just as simple as that. And the wise are not bothered by this transition. Okay, so जो व्यक्ति ये समझता है कि हम एक अनंत यात्रा में हैं और हम एक शुद्ध चेतना है, उसके लिए ये सारी चीजें मात्र एक कपड़े के बराबर है, जो हम आगे श्लोकों में भी देखेंगे कि जो हमारा एम्बॉडीड पेंड है, दैट इज वट एवर वी हैव, ये जो हमारी देह है, इसके जैसे अलग अलग फेजेस हैं। जैसे हमारा बचपन था, आज हम उससे रिलेट नहीं कर पाते, आज हम बड़े हो चुके हैं। यहाँ तक कि छोड़िए, हम अपने सपनों में भी उसको रिलेट नहीं कर पाते, हम अपने सपने में भी अपने आप को बड़ा ही देख रहे हैं। ठीक है, तो जिस तरीके से हम उस फेज को भूल जाते हैं और आगे बढ़ जाते हैं, चाइल्डहुड खत्म हुआ, टीनेज आया, टीनेज खत्म हुआ, अडल्टहुड आया, अडल्टहुड खत्म हुआ, ओल्ड एज है, ऐसे ही शरीर है, एक दिन दूसरा कपड़ा धारण करके एक नई देह स्वीकार कर लेगा मृत्यु के ऊपर। So first of all, like we all experience, Shri Krishna calls us an embodied being. Okay, भगवान कृष्ण हमको क्या बोल रहे हैं? हमको बोल रहे हैं that we are just embodied being. हम सिर्फ एक देह मात्र हैं। इसके अंदर जो देही है वो सत है, वो हमेशा रहेगी। That is someone who is not body but it inside body. तो someone who is not the body but is inside the body. So भगवान कृष्ण कह रहे हैं कि हम सब क्या हैं अंदर। अगर हम अपने आप को समझने की कोशिश करें, जिसको हम आई कह रहे हैं, वो है क्या? someone who is not the body but inside the body. ओके, हम लोग एम्बॉडीड बीइंग है, हम लोग किसी के द्वारा धारण किए हुए, हमारे अंदर कोई है जिस जो रियल आई है, और बॉडी जो हम जिसको समझ रहे हैं वो रियल आई नहीं है। दैट इज व्हाइल वी फील द बॉडी इज आवर्स, वी नो दैट वी आर जस्ट नॉट बॉडी। वी आल्सो हैव सीन दैट व्हेन पीपल डाई देयर बॉडी स्टेज। जो मृत व्यक्ति है, जिस वो जो मर जाता है, हम उसको क्या बोलते हैं? उसको बोलते हैं मिट्टी हो गया। मिट्टी हो गया मतलब अब ये वापस से उन सारी पंच में ही मिल जाएगा जिन पंच से वो शरीर बना था। लेकिन हम ये बिल्कुल ग्रामीण भाषा में ऐसे ही बोला जाएगा कि वो मिट्टी बन चुका है। वो मिट्टी बन चुका अर्थात क्या हुआ? उसमें से जो आय है, जिसके लिए हम बात कर रहे हैं, देही है, वो जा चुकी है, जो शुद्ध चेतना है वो जा चुकी है। सो फॉर श्योर वी आर समवन इनसाइड द बॉडी, दैट समवन इज दैट व्हाट वी कॉल्ड आई। We also know that I is what is empowering our body, providing consciousness to it, and once it leaves the body, this body will no longer be living. But we must ask, what is this I? Where does it get its energy or consciousness from? So, for example, in the rainy season, after the rain stops, when the sun comes out, we find water puddles coming to the life with dancing reflections of the sun in them. The sunlight falls everywhere. So just consider sunlight as consciousness. Okay, so sunlight falls everywhere, shining everything. But only a few surfaces like water puddles forms sun's reflection, while everything else, the light only reflects. Okay, so just as the sun is shining, just consider sun to be equivalent to Chetana, that is consciousness. Consciousness is the primary element of this universe. It shines everywhere. Okay, and our body and mind that we see is just like puddles filled with those waters. Similar to those puddles, our body and mind can form reflection of consciousness within. As consciousness is shining everywhere, a reflection gets found in body and mind, making it alive and conscious. This reflection of consciousness appearing in the body and mind is what gives rise to the feeling of I. Okay, so ये जो I है ये एक experience है. Okay, so ऐसा भी कहा जाएगा कि consciousness कब समझ में आएगी? Only when it has some element through which we can experience. But is it not that the light was not there? Light was always there. Consciousness is always there. It is just that through the instrument of like puddles here, only then we can understand the consciousness was there or not. Only the sun's reflection when it was getting reflected over these puddles, only then we can understand it existed. But does it negate the existence of consciousness? No. Or consciousness always existed. Okay, this way the I we feel inside us is just the reflection of consciousness, and this is what we call as Jivatma. Now, if that I inside us is just a reflection, then who we really are? We are that one which is reflecting, that is Chetna. But what happens is, because of this Maya all around us, we mistakenly treat the reflection inside our body or mind as ourselves. Okay? Now, understand at the end of all these things, self-realization. What is self-realization? The goal of self-realization is to do away with this mistaken identity that we think that we really are. And this is because of the mind all around us. And realizing what we really are, that is consciousness. That is, we have to give away this mistaken identity. Only then we'll be able to move to the path of self-realization. So now that we understand that we really are Chetna, and since when we understand ourselves as a pure consciousness, only then we can say that we always were and we always will be. See, this is what is the problem. When we think ourselves as a body, then nothing makes sense what Lord Krishna says in 11th and 12th, because there, if he says that we always were and we will always be, how would we associate ourselves there? We'll say, okay, no, that's not the case. See, I'm all changing per day. I'll be dying someday. Okay, so when I'm dying, what am I then? So if I relate to my body, then all these things that Lord Krishna is saying will appear very superfluous. That is, we always were or we always will be. This is just, it seems very fancy and only fancy, like very spiritually fancy terms. Okay. The only thing we need to do is to realize the reality, and that's it. Okay. So consciousness, as I told, was always there before even the universe came into existence. It is there now and it will always be. But instead of understanding consciousness, we identify ourselves with the मन, बुद्धि, चित्त and अहंकार और देह. एक और चीज जिसे हम एसोसिएट करते हैं वो देह है. So body, mind, eat. एक और चीज समझनी होगी. With that, we take ownership of all the activities done by this body. So basically, we associate ourselves more as body, as our mind, as our chitta, as our ahankar. All these things we associate ourselves with. And also understand what happens when we take the ownership of something this is not ours. So अभी हम ये समझ पाए कि हम जो हैं वो बॉडी नहीं है, हमारे अंदर कोई दूसरी चेतना है, कोई जीवात्मा है. ओके, और हमने वो जीवात्मा ले रखा है, इसकी वजह से हम फंक्शन कर पा रहे हैं. इसकी वजह से जो हम हैं, जिसको हम स्वयं कह रहे हैं, हमारा मन, बुद्धि, चित्त और अहंकार और हमारा जो शरीर है, ये जो चल पा रहा है, ये किसी चेतना के कारण चल पा रहा है. उस चेतना को हम क्या बोल रहे हैं? जीवात्मा. अगर हमने किसी से कोई चीज ली है तो हमें उसको देना तो पड़ेगा. And that's how the cycle of karma starts and has been going since eternity. So each life we are born with the karma called as the prarabdha karma. While repaying the prarabdha karma, we end up creating new karma. And to repay those karma, we again take the additional paths. And this is how cycle of death and life goes for eternity. And this is why we are studying Bhagwada Geeta, to end this cycle. Okay, if not today, not in this birth, then in next birth or some birth, at least we become so enlightened so that we can cross. Now the question arises that whatever we are studying today, whatever we are doing today, will it continue to the next birth, and how would it continue to the next birth? Because in the next birth we are going to take some different other clothes. Then how would we say that whatever we did we how would we remember all those things? And this is why one needs to understand the concept of the Panchakosha, that is the 5 layers described in the Taittiriya Upanishad. So by Panchakosha we mean, जो कि अभी राधिका ने जब बोला है, तो जब व्यक्ति की एनलाइटेंड स्टेट आएगी तो शंकराचार्य कह रहे हैं मैं पंचकोश भी नहीं हूं, तो मैं हूं क्या? मैं एक शुद्ध चेतना हूं। भगवान शंकराचार्य का जो बहुत ही सुंदर है निर्वाण अष्टकम, और इसको हम समझेंगे सही दृष्टि से जब हम ये पूरा दूसरा अध्याय कंप्लीट करेंगे। सो पंचकोश का तात्पर्य क्या है? पंचकोश में अलग अलग कोश हैं। हमारे शरीर को हम अन्नमय कोश बोलते हैं। द ब्रेथ दैट कीप्स अस बॉडी फिजिकली अलाइव इज कॉल्ड एज अ प्राणमय कोश. The layer of mind which controls the body is called as a manomaya kosh. Layer of intelligence which learns, analyzes things, and helps us decide to behave in different situations is called as a vijnanamaya kosh. And the layer that stores life's experiences, impression, desires, learnings is called as the anandamaya kosh. And further, there are these koshas are again divided into three groups. That is the sthula sharir and sorry for the interruption. एक minute. Okay, sorry. Okay, so sthula sharir, which is made of the annamaya and the pranamaya kosh, then the sukshma sharir, which is made of the manomaya kosh and the vijnanmaya kosh, and the karan sharir, which is made of the anandamaya kosh. So what happens? This sthula sharir and the sukshma sharir gets assigned to us for a particular life. Okay, only the karan sharir, which is the collection of all our karmas, understanding, experiences, vasanas, and gunas, travels forward and take up new life based on the prarabdha karma for the next life. So remember, all these karmas, experiences, understandings get itself into karana sharir, and when we are moving on to the new birth, we are taking with us this karan sharir. We are taking all these experiences of our lives. So this is why we say why we are all different, why we are all unique, because we have all different journeys. Okay, we have all different journeys from which we have we are into the ananta journey. हम बहुत ही एक अनंत यात्रा पर हैं, और इस अनंत यात्रा पे हमने क्या अनुभव किए, हमारे क्या कर्म है पूर्व जन्मों के, ये सब हमारे कारण शरीर में जाके स्टोर हो जाते हैं. So what dies with the death of the body? Sthula sharir and the sukshma sharir. What goes on to the new life is the karan sharir. And what is unchanged by death or birth, that is the Shuddha Chetna. And this is what Krishna is referring to, that is pure I. And how does this transition happen? So like Lord Krishna explained, that we went from childhood to old age, and this is how we go to the new life after the death. Okay. So the question now arises, while being stuck in the endless cycle, what is our eventual thought? We all want to chase the happiness. We all want to chase happiness. We all think we can satisfy ourselves with these material desires. We will be happy, but it's never the case. We always end up in distress. So if we notice, one of the favorite chocolate of mine was eclairs. So now once for the very first bite, when I used to have it, I used to feel blissful. Now I don't feel the same way. The similar way, the experience with given experiences, the sensory pleasure will not feel the same. And to add, life also throws multitude of good and bad experiences, and we are born in this new like artha, that is mrityu lok, due to our mixed good and bad karmas. But when we start on our journey on this path, life continues to unfold with good and the bad things happening around us, presenting us different various temptation. So for anyone who is on the spiritual path, one of the most important most important characteristic is the titiksha. It is the ability to withstand or tolerate whatever life throws at us. This is what a spiritual person should be. Let it be, because whatever situations that are coming in our lives, it's not because of your present karma. It is because of your past karma as well. And all these things are there because because the body in which you are right now in has to repay all these prarabdha karma. So just tolerate, just withstand whatever life throws at us. And this is what Krishna says in the shlok number. Okay. So as we know, we are born to repay the prarabdha karma, and situations like life throws us as due to the prarabdha karma. So sometimes things may be easy, sometimes it may be difficult. We have to just go through them without getting disturbed. By the way, titiksha does not mean if we fall sick, we are not going to take the medicines. Okay, this is a very lame argument that people give. That, okay, if everything is a prarabdha karma, then why should we even work? No, that's not the case. If someone is unfair, let's say if somebody is killing cow and you are saying, okay, this is the prarabdha karma of this cow, let it be. No, that's not the case. So it means whatever needs to be done, get done without getting impacted by the action. Okay, and in order to clarify all these things, Krishna says, okay, the one who is unaffected by happiness or distress and remains steady in both becomes eligible for the self-realization. And only why one would become unaffected or neutral with happiness and distress, only when he understands that it is just the it's just the cycle of life and death. Okay, it is just nothing. Okay, so whatever experiences we are having today, it is just just an experience, because probably because of our prarabdha karma, because we are carrying some karma, we have to repay them. So we should be remaining unperturbed with all these things. Okay. And another thing, comparison is the biggest misery. So when we compare our lives with others, we remain at difficulty, at stress. We don't understand that whatever we are thrown at and whatever we are is because of the unique prarabdha karma. Due to this, we'll always have some unique challenges, some unique circumstances. And we think that, okay, life is being unfair to us. No, that's not the deal, sir. You've already done some different difficult karmas in your previous birth. So you're bound to have some sort of taste of your own medicine. Okay. But understand, we are in a in uh, uh, in an infinite journey where we have to understand what is real, what is non-real. Okay. So the first thing that we should understand, we should have the clear feeling of is Sat and Asat, that is unreal or appearance. Okay. And this is an extremely important shloka, that is 16. We can spend, I think, around 3 to 4 hours alone on this particular shloka, but I will go on, and because I have less time, so I'll go on just skimming over it. Okay. So Asat here in 16th slok means which is never in existence, and Sat means which always exists. Okay. So if you go for the Shankaracharya's commentary, he would say that pot is what? Eventually pot is what? Pot is nothing but the clay. If you remove all the clay, pot disappears. Pot will not be there. So, like for example, this is how we can explain what is Sat and what is Asat. So, for example, bangles or necklace that you're wearing right now, probably not wearing, but you understand what bangles and necklace are. Are they not just 100% gold? So, if we take all the gold out of those necklace, what remains? Nothing. Okay. So basically, what is bangle or what is necklace? They are just nothing, but these are just the different forms of the gold. So therefore, gold is Sat. It will always exist, while other forms of gold are Asat. In fact, gold is also not Sat, because it is derived of some different elemental form. So, for example, let's say Shankaracharya says, if pot is what? Ultimately, it is clay. Then what is clay? Clay is again an earth element, and so on and so forth. So basically, one has to understand what is Sat and what is Asat. Okay. So, for example, we have gold bangles and we work with a goldsmith to convert them into necklace. When we get the necklace back, where did the bangles go? So basically, if I have a bangle and if I give it to goldsmith, he can convert it back to necklace. So it just disappeared. So basically, it is nothing but it is in the elemental form gold. Okay. So from this example, we must understand that just give me a minute. In this example, we must understand that we are just a chetna, and whatever is being manifested, that is just Asat. What is Sat? Sat is just chetna, which is getting transformed from one form to another. The manifestations of this chetna, we really think that these are the real things, but these are not the real things. This is not the real I. So we are just different names to this infinite consciousness. Okay, we have to understand this. And this is what in Vedantic terms, Brahm is called as the Nimitta Karan, the reason why this universe exists, as well as the Upadan Karan, that is a material cause of this universe. Okay. And this is, I think, I will have to give more stress on to. And for example, whenever we light a fire, it emits heat and light too. This heat and light don't have a separate existence from fire. They are just attributes of them. Similarly, consciousness or Brahma has two attributes, projection and wheeling. These together are called as Maya. So as heat and light depends on fire for their existence, projection and wheeling depend on Brahma for their existence. Due to this, Brahma is Sat and Maya is Asat. So basically, Maya is nothing, that they are just the projections, which we really think that, okay, this is the real self, but this is not. So, I'm ending up this discussion by saying that while projecting power of Maya projects this entire universe of various shapes and forms, wheeling power hides the presence of Brahma. So basically, Maya hides the presence of Brahma. Together, they give us experience of a fragmented world where everything is different from one another, but in reality, everything is just one, and that is Shuddha Chetana. And understanding of this is understanding the real and true self of Advaita. That is why I will end up by saying that this is the doctrine of Aditya Advait, which is being dictated by Lord Krishna. मैं यहाँ पे अपनी वाणी को विराम देता हूँ और मैं आगे के सत्र को बढ़ाने के लिए अल्पना को धन्यवाद।
बहुत ही सुंदर। तो इस सत्र को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए अब मैं मोहित को आमंत्रित करती हूँ, जो आगे के श्लोकों का वर्णन करेंगे।
I think we have less time, so we'll continue this in next session. Okay, so that would be fine.
Okay. So in the next session, we can start automatically with Mohit.
Okay.